Oh, welcome back. Let's take a look at what we are working on today. Aha, we want to be able to classify quadrilaterals. First, there's poly, more specifically, poly and cage. And then, oh my goodness, polygon. Now, of course, quadrilaterals are a special type of polygon. The polygon is a closed figure made up of line segments, not curves, in a two-dimensional plane. All right. So here are some examples. And again, today we're going to look at the quadrilateral family. Notice the quadrilateral has 4 sides. And so if you want to be a quadrilateral, it's real easy. You just have to be a polygon with 4 sides. Now, specialized, if you want to be a parallelogram, you still have to have 4 sides to be a quadrilateral. And you also need the opposite sides to be parallel. So you'll look something like this. You say, hey, 2 sides look kind of long, but they're parallel to each other. In fact, they're the same length. 2 sides look kind of short, happen to be same length, and they're parallel to each other. Now, even more specialized, the rectangle, it's actually a parallelogram, but it has 4 right angles. So you're like, hey, I got 4 sides, so I'm a quadrilateral. Opposite sides are parallel, so I'm a parallelogram. And I also have 4 right angles, so I'm a rectangle. Another specialized parallelogram is the rhombus. The rhombus, of course, has to have 4 sides. Opposite sides are parallel. That's why it's a parallelogram. And then there are 4 congruent sides. So all 4 sides have the same length. And then there's the most special parallelogram of all, the square. The square has 4 sides. Opposite sides are parallel. There are 4 right angles. And all 4 sides have the same length. In other words, all 4 sides are congruent. So that is the family of parallelograms that are part of the quadrilateral family. Now, there are 2 other special quadrilaterals that we often will look at. There's the trapezoid, 1 pair of parallel sides. And I'm going to show you 3 different images. Sometimes it looks like, hey, it's a symmetric. Sometimes it looks like it's a little stretched out, and sometimes it looks like, hey, it's trying to have some right angles, but of course, since it can only have 1 pair of parallel sides, it can only have 2 90-degree angles. The kite, of course, it's got to have 4 sides. It's going to have 2 pairs of adjacent congruent sides. All right, so sure enough, it's got 4 sides. But notice it's not the opposite sides that are congruent. You've got adjacent sides that are congruent. So 2 longer sides that meet at a vertex, 2 shorter sides that meet at a vertex. So here's a visual to help you see the classifications. Right, it's a Venn diagram, so everything in the Venn diagram is a quadrilateral. And then a subset is the parallelograms. And inside the parallelograms, you'll notice that you've got your rhombuses, you've got your rectangles. And if they overlap, that's what a square is, right? A square is a rhombus, a square is a rectangle, a square is a parallelogram, a square is a quadrilateral, and of course, a square is a polygon. Notice the trapezoids and the kites do not overlap with anything, right? They're specialty cases. So again, here's a better look at what makes a square, a rhombus, a rectangle, and a parallelogram what they are. Notice on the parallelograms, they're kind of floating toward the top left and top right corners. They've got like arrow markings. Those arrow markings are telling us that those sides are parallel. So the single arrows are trying to tell us, hey, these two sides are parallel. And the double arrows are saying, hey, those two sides are parallel. And then the marks on the rhombus for congruent, right? The mark on the side is like, hey, all four sides have the same mark. They're all congruent. The rectangles, you'll notice that all four angles are marked as right angles. And then, of course, there's this square in the middle, and the square says, look, I've got all the qualities of the rhombus and the rectangles, and, of course, the parallelograms. So, again, a little bit more distinction. The rhombus is a parallelogram with four congruent sides, right? Each side has the same length. A rectangle is a parallelogram with four right angles. A square is a parallelogram with four congruent sides and four right angles. So again, a square is a parallelogram and a rhombus and a rectangle. Uh-oh, here come the grammar police. Dictionaries. Quite often you'll see a combination of rhombuses and rhombi as the plural form. Math books tend to use rhombuses more often than rhombi. Right, so you'll have to get your grammar experts battling over that one, because I don't quite have the pay grade to match that stuff up. Ooh, I wonder what's hiding behind these. Why didn't the mathematicians arrive at the triangle school? They rode the wrong bus. Okay, maybe it wasn't that funny. Oh no, Polly, don't end up back in the cage. Run from the cage, Polly. Oh, Polly escaped. No, not the cage, Polly. Oh, I thought Polly was going to come in from the outside. Uh-oh. Oh, Polly, you got to avoid that cage. Oh, okay, Polly's not in the cage. It looks like it's Barney instead. Hey, let's work on a worksheet.